What if I told you that the new mythic Brawler Alli is better than the ultra legendary Brawler Kaze? Would you believe me? Well, if not, well then keep watching, because what I'm going to show you today is either going to get you excited or make you really scared. Maybe both. Alli will be the first brawler coming into the update that will be dropping in a day or so from when this video comes out. Alli is an assassin and the last member of the Swamp of Love trio. Being only a mythic brawler, she shouldn't be too hard to get, but of course there will be an early access bundle if you do wish to get her early. And if you do, I'd appreciate you using code LEX in the Brawl Stars shop. Alli's mechanics feel like a mashup of a few different brawlers, but also some new stuff in there as well. She has 8,200 hit points at max level, and her main attack is called Swamp Swipe, and it can really be one of two different styles depending on where you are. If you're in a bush or in the water, you do a leaping attack similar to Miko, but faster. However, if you're on normal ground, you'll do a short dash similar to Mortis, but not as long of a swipe. Now, her movement speed is also normal. That is, unless she's enraged. When an enemy with 50% health or less is nearby Alli, she will go into a tracking enraged mode. When she gets this, as signaled by this red eye symbol, she will gain 2 buffs. She will get a movement speed and an attack range buff, which will make it easier to close the gap and attack somebody. This makes her incredibly deadly, but if you equip her second star power called You Better Run, You Better Take Cover, she will also get a 40% faster reload speed. And 40% is a huge amount, but it doesn't stop there, because while in rage, you cannot hide from Alli, as her tracking will lead her to you. When in tracking mode, she sees players in bushes, as well as footprints appear on the ground, leading her straight to them. Her other star power is pretty good too, as with it, you will start to regenerate health quicker out of combat, and this one is very similar to Tick's well-oiled star power. But of course, she only gets these enraged buffs when a player nearby is low health. Oh, except she actually can do that just by activating a button whenever she wants. And that button is her gadget, Cold-Blooded. When pressed, Alli will get enraged for 6 seconds. However, you can only press it when any enemy is in sight, but they don't have to have low health. So it's a single button on a 14-second cooldown that gives you reload, range, and speed buffs. Yeah, it's good. However, you can also use her other gadget called Feed the Gators. With this gadget, her next main attack will also heal her for 100% of the damage that she does on her next main attack, so 2,600, but that could actually be higher when paired with her super. For her super, she will go invisible like Leon, but unlike Leon, the invisibility isn't constant, but rather pulsing, so it's not as good as Leon's, as while she's invisible, she will become visible again for a second and then disappear again, giving you a chance to retaliate or run. Also, while in her super, the next person she attacks, the damage will scale based on how much hit points they have. So the higher the hit points, the more damage that she does. Similar to Colette. That is her basic kit. So now it is time for the test. And what you're about to see is nothing short of insanity. Now for the test, I've equipped her reload star power, and I've also started her out in a bush. So for her first attack, she will leap, but afterwards it'll be back to normal attacks. Now I did this because this will be her primary way of attacking. It's not using any special abilities, it's just her attack. And she would actually do better in these tests if she was in the bushes for the entire time, but I think that this is more realistic of how you will be attacked when you're facing off against Alli. So let's just start with Alli's toughest competition, the tanks. Leaping out and on a Draco you think would be a bad idea, but nope. Now Meg makes it interesting as her star power knocks Alli back, but she still finishes the job. Alli is known for control and not huge damage, and it shows here. Against Buster, it's a photo finish and they both take each other out at the same time. Hank does a lot of damage, but the insane reload of Alli lands her with the win. Alli's dash is able to avoid a lot of the damage from Ash, and she gets a dub here too. BB gets a big swing and knocks her back, but it's right into the grass and she leaps back out for the kill. Now Frank is usually the one to put a stop to the party, but similar to Mortis, Alli can dash through, avoiding some of the damage, and she actually walks away, beating Frank. However, there is no avoiding the counter crush from Jackie as she wins. Daryl shows off his massive damage and blasts her to smithereens, but Rosa, even with her buff, is just not strong enough. And against Primo, that dash once again saves Alli some damage and gets her the win. And finally, we have Bull, and up close, yeah, Bull is Bull. So she went 9-4 against the tanks. Think about that for a second. The one class that dominates assassins up close just got dominated. Now, there are a few things to learn here about Alli. First off, her star power that gives her more reload speed is absolutely cracked. In any prolonged fight, it's an absolute winner. But also, one of the best ways to use Alli is going to be leaping from the grass or water and surprising an enemy. You can get the drop on them and they can't even hit you until you land. And what's wild is that if you're in a bush and you meet a tank, normally that'd be bad, but she is just going to leap up and down like Miko, making it possibly even a harder fight for the tanks. I want to say it's a tough matchup for Alli, and it is probably her hardest one, but even then, as a tank, you're not safe. At the same time though, if you're playing Alli, it's probably not going to be your first target. You're not going to seek out a tank and try to kill them at full health, but if they take a little bit of damage, then all bets are off because you can absolutely take them out. I mean, I'd still watch out for Jackie and Bull and Daryl though. Just saying. Assassins are tough though, so how does Alli fare against her own class? Let's find out. Now, usually winning a fight against an assassin comes down to who gets the drop on who. Here, Alli has that advantage, but that advantage isn't enough to take out Kenji with his self-healing and his shield. Cord gets blown up fast, and Leon gets the same treatment. Now, Crow does put a dent in the HP, but it's still not enough. Both Lily and Melody do some significant damage, but in the end, they both fall. And in a ridiculous interaction, Miko and Alli are jumping and dashing all over the place, but Miko's reload speed is his downfall. Now, Fang looks cool in that new skin, but that doesn't mean that he gets a win. Buzz comes very close to getting the win, but falls just short. Mortis and Alli trade dashes, but Alli is the one left standing. However, Shade doesn't stand for very long. Now, Sam takes it down to the very last moment, but the reload speed of Alli wins it. Edgar with fisticuffs still puts up a fight, but loses, while Stu crashes out real fast. So Alli went 14-1 against the other assassins, which is absolutely wild, but in a game, I don't think it's going to be quite that bad, but only if the other assassin gets the drop on Alli. If you can surprise her, then you can turn the tables, but otherwise, Alli is hard to beat. Now, assassins normally don't have too many problems with the controller brawlers, and if Alli can beat down on the other tanks and the assassins, then what you expect is about to happen? Yeah, it absolutely does. Charlie barely gets off any damage, and while Chuck does all right, it's not very close. Willow is gone in a blink, and Otis follows that trend. Lou hardly leaves a scratch, and Squeak is gone before any damage even happens. Mr. P, he gets sent packing, but Jean almost gets her to half health. It's like an accomplishment to get her to half health. Meeple only gets off one shot, but Gale, he's able to do all right. Now, Griff normally destroys other brawlers, but here, he gets destroyed. Both Ems and Bo never really stood a chance, and Penny gets blown up, just like her cousin Jessie. So 18 wins and 0 losses against the controllers. Not a huge surprise, but I really thought that some of these brawlers like Griff would have done better, but these are just base level interactions, so what about in an actual game? Once again, it's going to come down to not getting surprised by Alli. If she catches you slipping, then what you saw just happen, that's exactly what's going to happen. But if you can keep her at bay and not let her get close to you, then you definitely have a chance. Although that might be hard to do thanks to her enrage function and her stealth. She's going to be very tough to keep away, so hopefully you'll be able to do some damage to her and make her think twice before coming at you. But there is one group that can make her think twice about trying her luck, and that's the damage dealers. Now, if anyone can handle Alli, it's Chester, and he does just that. But then things go back to normal with Surge. Spike does make it real close, but Lumi gets beaten like a drum. Mo, he got cheesed, and Clancy, well, he got boiled. RT can't use his new hypercharge here, and he doesn't stand a chance. Eve suffers the same fate, and it's just not in the cards for Tara. Pearl, however, deals overwhelming damage and has a shield. Lola, Colette, and Carl all go down without putting up too much of a fight. Rico is gone in an instant, and while 8-Bit puts up a fight thanks to his health, it's not enough, while Colt and Nita just get straight up beat. So then, with one last shot for a win, Shelly steps up, and with the help of her Band-Aid star power, she finishes it off with a win for the damage dealers. So 15 wins and 3 losses against the hardest hitting brawlers in the game. That is absolutely wild. I mean, yeah, it was rough, and yeah, in a game there are going to be a lot of scenarios where Alli is going to be able to wipe them out in a hurry, but there are other times with brawlers like Nita who can turn the table and harass her with her super. Now, Surge may have gotten destroyed here, but he has the ability to flip the script with his super as well, and Griff's super can deal with just about any brawler, but it does mainly come down to these brawlers really needing to use their supers to deal with Alli, which is rough, but if you play it smart, you definitely have a chance against her. Probably not much of one. Now, as an assassin, the next group of brawlers shouldn't pose much of a threat. Kit swipes to attack, but Alli's swipe is stronger. Jay Young is singing in the key of L, but Doug gets off one final shot as Alli was dashing in for the win. Gray had no words for his loss, while Ruffs just yelled. Byron was gone before it even started, and Max, she's looking for some more Red Bull. For Barry, he has a cool skin, and that's not nothing. And even the mighty Egg Pam gets cracked. Gus had his balloon popped, and Poco broke a string en route to a 10-1 record for the support brawlers. Now, was that a surprise to anyone? No, probably not. I mean, listen, support brawlers are not cut out to deal with an assassin leaping on them. It's just not what they do. I mean, sure, there are some cases where it might be all right, like if Gus has a shield to protect and knock back, or maybe Pam has a gadget and a turret ready, but for the most part, these brawlers are going to be running in fear when Alli is on the prowl. They will be looking to their teammates to help them out because even the support brawlers need some support. Now, when facing marksman brawlers, they kind of have it tough. To even do these tests, I have to place them close, and that is not where they want to be. Every single one of these marksman brawlers gets absolutely dunked on. Most of them barely have enough time to get off an attack or two. Now, Bonnie does last a little longer thanks to her health, but the rest of these brawlers in this entire class are taken out by a quick jump and a swipe. Again, a brutal matchup with a clean 10-0 sweep. Alli made them look like they were absolutely nothing, like they did not even stand a chance at all. But really, this should come as no surprise because we all know that finding yourself up close with an assassin as a marksman brawler, that's never a good thing. But again, just like the damage dealers, in a real game, they are going to fare much better because of their range and their abilities to get away in a pinch. But up close and personal, there's just no chance. So then there's only one class left, and that's the throwers. How do you think this is going to turn out? Now, I don't really think I need to give you the play-by-play here. They're all throwers standing at point-blank range against an overpowered assassin that can leap and dash. If you thought that even one of these brawlers had the chance to take out Alli, then you probably just downloaded the game. And if that's the case, here's a little friendly PSA. Don't let this brawler or any assassin get close to you if you're playing a thrower. So then, you have seen the newest Brawler Alli 1v1 versus every brawler in the game. How good is she? And where will she shine? To say that this brawler is going to be good would be a massive understatement. Not only is this brawler good, she is absolutely broken and unfair. That being said, there are some weaknesses. Okay, so there's one weakness, and that is that she has to get up close and personal to deal any damage. So if you're playing against her, take advantage of that. But that's going to be easier said than done because her movement, crazy reload speed, enrage ability, stealth, and leaping are going to be too much to handle for almost every brawler in this game. She is better than Kaze, and even more importantly, she is much more fun to play. Unlike Kaze, she doesn't need an advanced physics degree to know how to play her. That being said, she's still complicated enough to be interesting. Now, there's for sure a skill component to this brawler. Like, if you're good with Mortis, then I think that you're going to find yourself at home pretty quick with Alli. However, I think that she's more forgiving to play than Mortis is. So where will she work? Well, she's going to thrive in many modes, like being an aggro in Gem Grab, or crazy dynamic in Brawl Ball, being able to dribble the ball pretty easily. Bounty, it's going to really depend on the map, but she could work there too. In Showdown, she's going to be a beast, and even in Heist, if you can get to the safe, you're going to deal a lot of damage, and on top of that, you're going to be harassing enemies nonstop. I can easily see her being one of the most broken brawlers in the game, and if you like assassins, you should absolutely be looking forward to adding her to your roster. But how does she stack up against the other new brawler, Trunk? Well, come back tomorrow and you'll find out.